Okay, oh my gosh, the final video of Falco, the German Shepherd Canine Cop. This is colored pencil on drafting film, not Duralar, drafting film. It's by the same company, Graphics, but it's better quality than Duralar. What I'm doing now is getting the base layers, and I'm using the same colors, cream, burnt yellow ochre, and some browns, burnt sienna, and getting a base coat. I'm purposely doing this kind of messy because I know right here I'm going to go over it and just blend in with the odorless mineral spirits. Now, you'll see here in a minute, I put too much on my brush right there when I went back to dip in. Way too much odorless mineral spirits on my brush. And you can see how it kind of picked up the pigment there. So I just went on and blended and added a little more color where it wasn't too wet. Added some pink. Pink is really important to get the flesh color of the skin, especially in the areas where a little skin does show, and the inside of the hind leg, mostly with dogs. That's where the skin does kind of show through, like a hue of pink or flesh color does come through, especially if their skin is a light cream, a lighter color. Now I'm kind of fighting with this area again. I ended up just blotting it with tissue and let it dry, and then I go to another area. I can't tell you how important that is if you're having issues with a certain area, whether it's with odorless mineral spirits or not, any kind of art. If you're getting frustrated or stuck in one area, just move on. Don't even look at it. Just, walk away. Walk away, meaning go to another section of your subject. Now, this is odorless mineral spirits. I hardly have any on this brush. I'm just trying to get the fur effect, so I kind of want it to be messy. And that is just the base layer there that I did. Now I'm going in with black because his chest area is very dark. It's a really, really dark black. So I'm okay with going in with a little black right here. And then I always go over it with maybe a violet, like a deep violet or a deep blue or something like that. So it's not so flat. You can easily go over your black with reds and blues, just like I did there. And so it's not as flat black. So it has some kind of luminance, I guess, to it. So these are just the beginning layers, the base layers of the black. And you can see how I have it's kind of a magenta color that I did down there, and I'm just blending very gently. I can't stress how I'm hardly touching the drafting film because it's a film. It's not the odorless mineral spirits, as I've said in the previous videos. It does not absorb, it evaporates. So you have to use just a tiny little bit and wait for it to evaporate, then move it around before it dries 100%. Or if it's dry on the drafting film and your brush has some odorless mineral spirits on it, maybe just a touch, you can move around the pigment that way. If you're finding this video helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel. Thank you. Now I'm doing a base coat here for his paws. Just what I'm doing is, as you can see, I'm using the grid method. what I'm doing is, looking back and forth, my reference photo. I use my ruler to guide me. If I can't see the lines of the grid method, I'll use my ruler. Really what I'm doing here is just getting his toes in, getting his paws in, which for me is always a challenge. And I kind of like it a challenge because I know the only thing that makes you better at something like this is practice. So I actually enjoy the challenge and I try not to rush through it, though I want to, because it's not my favorite part, but I know it's good for me. So I say, okay, take a deep breath. Let me see if I can get better at this. The only way I'm going to get faster at doing it is doing more of paws and the little nails on the paws and the feet and the elbows and the funky curves right on top of his leg there. So yeah, this is a challenging part, I'm not gonna deny. And this is sped up so you can see how long it's taking me. I'm really kind of just looking at the reference photo, drawing or erasing a little bit. Looking at the reference photo, drawing and erasing a little bit. So this was the time-consuming part. But again, I enjoy it. It's a challenge. And I know the next time I do this, I learned something. Hopefully I won't forget it by the time I do another set of paws, which is probably going to be a while because I don't have any commissions lined up. I'm not really doing commissions at the moment. This was just a special commission for a police officer, and this is his canine cop that got killed in action when he was on duty. So this was just special that I wanted to do for the police officer in Gary, Indiana. So this is going to Gary, Indiana. Actually, it is almost framed and will be shipped tomorrow. So very exciting. So I'm going to jump ahead here in a second because this is not the most riveting part of the portrait. The best advice I can give you here, if you do something like this, is keep your pencils sharp and get the sanded paper block to keep your pencil sharp so you don't have to sharpen the whole pencil, the whole pigment there. You can just it's like a nail file. You can just sharpen it a little bit with the sanded block. Now, as you can see, it was getting kind of yellow there, a little goldish, too yellow. So I'm toning it down. I used like an orange. I think it was a burnt sienna. The Derwent Lightfast, their colors, the names of their colors they're not straightforward. They're a little different. So I can't remember them all. Anyway, so I tried to knock back that yellow with an orange, kind of a brownish orange, and I like it. It helped. And I did the shavings, so it kind of created like a wash, maybe, just to blend in and knock back that yellow. And now here I am with my sharp pencil. I'm just kind of, randomly getting some fur, getting some lines in there, some fur. And this part is important. I have my ruler for this is where my grid line would be. And this is really helping me. I have some points in there, reference points that I made kind of with the black. So I know where to put this super, super dark black the colors, the shadow and part of his chest, where I should put it really dark because I don't want to have to go back and erase it if I have it in the wrong place. So I wanted to make sure I had my lines right, basically. Now I'm using the Derwent color blender, that what you just saw there. I blended, and I'm not pressing very hard, but I did blend all that black in. And remember, I had the magenta underneath. So now I did black over it, and it looks good. It's kind of, it's just coming through a little bit. And as I get some more, a couple more layers on there, get it darker, and then get the paw next to it, it'll look fine. Now just getting some fine details using some Polychromos, that looks like Payne's gray, to get the details in the edges of his paw there. This is mostly done in Derwent Lightfast. This is a commission, as I said. So Derwent Lightfast, the colors won't fade for like 100 years. So this is why I'm pretty much using these pencils. Although Polychromos colors, a lot of their colors are Lightfast too. Except maybe that pink I just used, but I used enough Derwent Lightfast over it. So anyway, so what I'm doing, as you can see, I kind of went back and forth getting my lines there of his nail, then erasing, and it's kind of a tedious part right here, but that's why you got to charge accordingly for pet portraits. If you do, I mean, this is almost like a full body portrait, right? Because a lot of front, the hind leg, full chest. You got to really charge accordingly for your time, create value for the portrait, and don't be afraid to let your customer know how long it will take you and what is involved. That's a whole nother conversation, and I actually do have a pet portrait online course, and I go over all the pricing and how to get business and all that sort of thing. So I do have an online course for how to draw pet portraits and to start a business. I didn't mean to do a little promo for that, but there it is. Okay, now super fine point again. I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing I did on the other paw, and doing little fine marks, and then erasing to get the highlight in the right place. Super sharp pencil, following my grid, creating some marks with a brown color for guides. Again, these little marks here, they are just guides for me, where I can go in and put my darker values, my lighter values. Like, okay, this is kind of like a bone, like a shadow, where he kind of has a crease here, or where his paw starts to bend over and there's a crease there and there's some shadows. So, you can really, really overthink this, and I did in some parts. But I think that's why the grid helps me so much. It kind of really keeps me on track, and I don't stress out as much because I know I can fix it. I have a guide, and it just helps me. It helps it move faster for me. And so I needed a break from the paw. It was getting a little overwhelming. So I decided to go in and do the stump. And plus, this happens a lot too, where I prefer to do like maybe half of say the paw. I did just like the base coat, so I really didn't do much. And but I'm gonna do like reverse drawing or painting. Like what I'm doing here is I'm gonna draw around the paw and get the values that are around the paw and underneath the paw and get the shadow. Then I'll see the true colors of the paw when I put them down, when I lay them down, because I have the surrounding colors on there. Oh, I hope that made sense. You'll see here in a minute. I'm getting down some pigment so I can use odorless mineral spirits and just move the pigment around, really, is what I'm going to do. And at first, I wasn't sure if I was going to go all the way out with the stump to the edge of the paper, but I decided it looked kind of funny, kind of like cut off. So there, I ended up going, yeah, I'll just go all the way out to the end of the paper. And just getting in some darker values here. And this is a tree stump. So this is actually fun. After doing the paws, I needed to have a little fun. And I love that kind of mossy color green there, that sage blue green. So I just need to have fun. And here I go. I just got some color down. And now I have very little odorless mineral spirits on my brush. And it's kind of going a little slower than it takes a little while because I don't have that much on my brush. So I'm really kind of pushing around the pigment, but these are base layers and I want it to be kind of, textured, kind of rough. It's a tree stump. And over here, the colors are drastically different. Warm. Hitting the sun on this side, I'm taking it. The other side has got like the blue moss, so it's probably in the shade. And getting the browns. These are just base coats, but I'm kind of taking my time doing it because I want to create the texture. I actually am, painting and I'm making specific his paw to get the edge of the paw. Okay, now while that dries, kind of loosened up, I had a little fun. Now I'm going back to his leg. Everything dried up there, and I'm going in with the fur. And you want to draw fur in clumps, not individual not individual hairs. Think of it as clumps. So I did kind of a clump right there. I'm trying to get the curve of his leg. So I'm getting the highlights on the very edge of his leg, and it goes darker as it goes in towards his body. Getting the back there. Here we go. Now I'm getting in, these are pretty much the final layers. And you can see I'm kind of being a little messy. And because it's fur, especially it's German Shepherd fur, which is very kind of coarse and thick. So I wanted to make sure I got that kind of effect. Doing some erasing for highlights. And I also, you'll see at the end of this video how I do the slice tool for highlights. I do it especially around the paws. So your eraser is just as much of a tool as your pencil. You have to think of it like that. It's just as much of a tool. Now I'm blending, I erase. Now I blend a little bit after I erase. Oh, here we go. Now here's the slice tool. I'm creating some little wispy hairs, lightening up some areas, creating highlights, and you can see how much I'm taking off. And you don't want to wipe this off with your hand, your fingers. You want to wipe it off with a brush. Then I go over it with the Derwent blending pencil, and voila, here we go. The finished German Shepherd portrait colored pencil on graphics drafting film, not Durlar, drafting film. Thank you for watching, everybody. And if you're finding this video helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel. Thank you.